Welcome to Positive Philter with your host, Philip Wilkerson, a podcast that focuses on friends, family, health, and career with a little self-help around the way. Please join me in this journey for self-improvement, and I hope that what I have to share will make you a better person, thus making the world a better place.
Guys,
I'm
so
a
we're
message
gonna get our
Dorsey.
serious faces on right now. Get our grits going.
Oh, what?
What?
All right, are we ready? Are we recording right now?
Dorsey.
Oh, we're starting. Okay.
Oh, it's recording?
Are we recording? All right.
Oh, shit.
Hey, Positive Philter listeners, it's Philip Wilkerson back with another episode of Positive Philter. Today I'm joined by my esteemed guest, my line brothers of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. And so today is our a special day for all of us. It's our first Alphaversary.
1919.
06. All right, so I have some guests. I'd like them to introduce themselves, so we'll go down the line. I guess I should go first. My name is ProphICEY, a.k.a. Hamilton Ghoul, and I was the ace. Who's number 2? There you go.
Deuce Gang, Dr. Johnny Yoko Uzoma, a.k.a. Blackout, a.k.a. Mr. Innovator himself, a.k.a. your auntie's favorite DJ. Just shameless plug right there, but you know.
Yo.
Okay.
If y'all didn't catch it the first time, though, he did say doctor.
Right.
Doctor.
Yeah.
Doctor
Doctor.
Blackout.
Okay. Our number 3 is supposed to be called in, so we'll skip him.
Okay. So I'm number 4, Jason Hawkins, a.k.a. Luke Cage, a.k.a. Timeless, a.k.a. Radio Voice.
Okay.
What's
And-
good? What's good? It's number 5, Live 5. It's your boy damnbransam, a.k.a. Brandon, a.k.a. Diversified, a.k.a. Fun Fact, because I always got the facts on y'all niggas.
All right.
Word.
And our tail.
It's like, nah, what's good? This your tail. John Busby. No, look, Dorsey, chill out.
Dorsey, be quiet.
This your tail.
It's not your time yet.
Hey, yo, chill out. Chill out.
Hey.
Yo, he's using that Xfinity
Dorsey on
anywhere
the
internet.
Dorsey on the
up,
hot
bro.
spot.
This your tail. John Busby, number 6. What's my line name? Focal Point, a.k.a. Commander in Chief.
And then back to
Zaddy.
Yo.
And then back to Dorsey, number 2. Number 3. Yeah, Dorsey.
A.k.a. Baby Trey, because he's the baby of the line.
hear me?
Yeah, go ahead,
Yeah,
Dorsey.
we hear you. We hear
We hear
you,
you.
brother.
Y'all can hear me now?
Yeah, we heard you.
Yo, tell the
Introduce
people who
yourself.
you are,
Alright,
man.
man.
Tell
Yeah,
the
I've been
people.
saying hello for like 5 minutes.
Okay.
Nobody's
We heard
saying
you,
nothing.
Sean.
Okay,
All right,
introduce
cool.
yourself.
Introduce yourself.
So what's going on?
Introduce yourself.
Introduce yourself.
All right, my name is Dorsey Cotman. The Trey, aka Philly Grammar, aka Genesis.
Trey Way.
Philly.
Yes.
Trey Way.
Freeway.
You already know, baby.
So-
Use the magic number.
Freeway got the hood on smash.
So we literally just took 3 minutes to introduce ourselves.
You
and
will,
so,
you will be editing this.
No, we're not. This is the all raw.
This is it,
I
bro.
say give it to him.
They're gonna listen to this in traffic and laugh their asses off when they get to work.
Okay, so we all came to Alpha in different points of our lives. Let's just go a little bit of background. Where you guys went to school and how we came to
Hey, Phil, where
This
did
chapter.
you go to school?
the best school in Virginia, James Madison.
Oh, okay.
All right, so let's go around. And then
Hey, where'd you get your master's, Phil?
Dang, why you asking me? George Mason University.
Okay, what year?
Dang, why I can't remember? 2012.
Nice.
All right, get out of here.
Go ahead, Ace. Start us off, Ace.
Yeah, so we all joined this. We all came to this wonderful fraternity together, in different spots in our lives, and so I want to just talk about a setup. What was your first impression of each other when we first met?
That's a setup, man.
Wait, I thought we was talking about
You asked us
schools.
about schools. Now you
I
trying
don't know.
now you trying to be shady.
This is
Can we-
classic Bill.
can we-
Like,
Yeah.
You went from
This is
asking-
literally classic Bill.
That was
bro.
such a like.
He's like
Can we
an
back to
unchained
schools?
dog. He's like, okay, ruff, over here, ruff, over
Right.
here.
Yeah.
Can we
Focus.
pivot?
Bill.
He starts
Which one you
asking
want
one
first?
question.
What you want first? You want to know what schools we went to, or you want to know why we came to Alpha, or
Okay,
what
let's
we
do-
thought
Bill
about
and
each other? I
Adderall.
mean, excuse me.
Let's do the school first.
School first, okay.
Yeah.
School first, and then the gossip. That's
There
what
we
you
go.
want.
Yeah, a little bit of
All right,
juice.
cool.
Okay, go first. We're not doing it in
so
order no
number
more.
two. All right, so I went to Penn State University.
Tell us who you are, bro.
Hey, this is Jason Hawkins, a.k.a. Luke Cage, a.k.a. Timeless. So, no, I...
Wait, time out. I want y'all to understand why we call him Luke Cage, because y'all can't see him.
no,
He
that's
looks
true.
like Luke Cage.
This is a Luke Cage looking ass motherfucker.
Go to Netflix and search Luke Cage.
Yeah, he's it.
And his name
He's
will
it.
pop
You
up.
see him. He look like Luke Cage.
He'll
You see
break
it.
your
Yeah, you see
wall
it.
real quick and your jaw. So watch out.
Pop up.
There we go.
If y'all ever come and try to fight any of us, he got us, man.
Yeah, literally.
So watch it.
Yeah,
I don't.
You really don't want.
And he's strong as shit.
Yeah, you really
Yikes.
don't want any of this. So you
All
want,
right,
you want to stay
go
on my
back-
kids. So
back
anyway,
on subject.
from Long Island, New York, went to Penn State, graduated in 2007. From there, came to Washington, D.C. My goal was to get working experience in the legal field and then make my way into law school. But that didn't happen. I took a different route, got married, and went the family route, and that's okay. Eventually, I went to an alumni event and got involved with supply chain management, which I've been involved with now for about 10 years.
Excellent.
Thank you, Pastor Hawkins.
Right.
That was actually an in-depth background. So
And now
anyone
it's
else?
time for the benediction.
It sounded like 103.5. You know, you listen to the
Was it
news
just,
on the way
I
to
thought it
work.
was just about what's
Doctor.
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 Dr. Yoko.
Dr. Johnny here again. So, you know, I'm from the west coast of the nation, San Francisco, California.
Yay, yay.
Got my BS in biology way back when, Cal State East Bay. Applied to pharmacy school, ended up at Howard. I don't need to get into the story, but
There you go.
at Howard, you know, the first people I started looking up to, they were alphas. So, you know, I had to follow in their footsteps and figure out some things. But finally graduated. I'm glad to be a part of the fold and
He's a doctor now.
He's a doctor.
Pharmacology.
and all that. But
There you
yeah,
go.
man.
Good background. Why don't we go with Brandon? Because I'm looking at him.
Samuel.
Yes, sir. So it's Brandon over here, hailing from Bronx, New York.
And why?
Went to Howard University for undergrad, got a BBA from there, and have a master's in HR with a concentration on organization development from Georgetown. As far as why I even stepped into this whole like realm of alpha, that was something that came through undergrad. Got a lot of positive influences from that, whether it be a professor who's honestly like family to me, then also very like guiding mentor as well, really guided me towards that light. So forever grateful for that for sure.
And then let's get Dorsey so he feels like he's involved. Dorsey, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where
And
you
Dorsey, we hear some noise from your end, and it sounds like you're popping
like
some
eating,
gum.
eating something.
So stop
eating.
popping that gum.
Put that gum away.
Where are you hiding, bro?
Dorsey, where are
You
you?
hear us?
Yeah, I can see me. Bad reception out here. And I'm in my car. But can y'all hear me good?
Yeah, we hear
We
you.
can hear you just fine.
Yeah,
Go
just tell us
ahead.
a little back where you came from,
Go
Dorsey.
ahead, man.
All right, so I'm from North Philadelphia. I moved out into the DMV area with my LBs like at about 2016. And a little brief background about me is that you know, I went to Shippensburg University, and I always looked up to Alpha in terms of, you know, having my eyes on the light, because every man that I looked up to, there was already alphas, not just far as the fraternity, but alphas in every organization, and just being a male and a positive role model in general. So, did I answer your question, bro?
Yeah, that was good. That was actually really
All
excellent
right, cool,
background.
cool.
And then we'll finish with the tail. Tell us a little bit about your background.
From Plainfield, New Jersey. Started out at the College of New Jersey in Ewing, New Jersey. Transferred because it was white. Went to a HBCU, the best HBCU, the North Carolina Agricultural and Technical State University.
Not true.
GHO.
Not
Just
the
came from
best.
GHO,
Not the
recovering.
best, though.
I graduated with a
Howard's the best.
bachelor's of science in computer-aided drafting and design. And honestly, Alphas, when I got to college and here on out, honestly, everybody that I saw in leadership positions were Alpha, which made me want to actually go and research them even more. And I mean, here I am today, I guess.
There you go. So we all see that we came from various backgrounds, right? And I guess what we say is we started last summer, getting to know each other and go through the process and stuff like that.
Something like
Now, you know, staying positive, what was some of your first impressions of each other.
I like how you said staying positive.
I know I didn't say that because once they said I was going to start something, but I'm not
This
trying to start
was
something.
a diverse group.
You said impressions of each other.
Yes.
Hey,
What
thanks.
are you
All right,
eating,
can I
bro?
start to something
Can you
younger?
pass that
Is
7
it
up?
good?
Yeah, go ahead. You
Well,
can start.
I was starting, but go ahead.
All right, so
Dorsey.
like,
Is it good, Dorsey?
yeah. Yo, I'm eating some Panda Express. You know, this is my
bro.
jam right here.
Damn.
You
I
know
got
we're
some
you know
lo
we're
mein,
live and
chicken.
we're recording
You know
a
what I mean?
podcast, right?
I'm hungry as hell. All right, but look, so far me being the youngest out the line and everything, my first impression of y'all was like how you can be successful even at a young age, because nobody in our line is like 40 or touching 40 or nothing. You know what I mean? And seeing that, especially in the environment that I'm coming from, it definitely was motivational to me to kind of get on my grind and do better in whatever profession I want to, fulfill. We got John. He's a really good graphic designer. Phil, he's doing his positive filter thing and also on campus. Brandy, he's good in HR. Johnny, he's doing medical field and everything. And Jason is good at every freaking thing, even a father. So like, and I got 2 fathers on online that's really good. So, things like that. From my first impression of y'all was like, okay, we all got different personalities, but how we still are able to come together and everybody's transparent with each other and everybody's doing their thing as black men, period. That was the biggest impression I had. And I still got that. So even if I'm not around, but just by talking to y'all, being around y'all, I still feel inspired, especially when I'm at my weakest moments. So that's just coming from me.
That's
But, yeah.
beautiful.
Damn, he's actually dropping heat.
Go ahead.
I'm
That
glad
was
he went.
beautiful.
I'm glad he went before Jason. Yeah, look at that.
But close your mouth
How
so
you
we
gonna-
don't hear you chew.
How you gonna go next? What are you gonna say? What's the first impression? That was pretty deep.
You know what, Phil?
Hey, Dorsey, hit that mute button, bro, so I don't hear you.
Yeah.
No, seriously, no. First impressions.
Y'all really do hear me? Oh, shoot, my bad.
All right.
First impressions of the group. Again, piggybacking off of what Dorsey said. I mean, each of us presents. We all have our own strengths. Phil, he, showed me that you can do anything. You got to keep structured. You got to keep a structured
Google
mentality.
Calendar.
And that's some. You know what? Each of you has shown me traits that I need within myself. So for Phil's benefit, structure, order, going off of a schedule, keeping on track. That's something that again, I'm timeless when it comes to certain to that aspect. To Johnny, what can I say about you, man? I mean, honestly, you're a good brother. You showed me that. Keep studying, keep grinding, keep trying, and honestly, keep focused on your goals. Dorsey, you've shown me to be you've taught me how to be observant and not say much, but have an impact in my actions. So that's that's a plus to you, brother. Brandon, honestly, what can I say about you, man? I mean, you have shown me how to have strength, not to be timid or tepid in my steps as a man, but to really, to let my voice be heard and let my strength be known. I don't have to come in there with my fists waving through the air.
Because your Luke Cage and can fuck people up.
That too, and you know what? I like my freedom. And to John, I mean, what can I say, man? I mean, John has, he's a cut and dry sort of dude. So my first impressions of him was, listen, cut through the fluff, cut through the BS, and let's get this. So
Let's get it. That's actually pretty accurate. But go ahead. You have something to say? I'm not gonna cut off. Go ahead. No, I was just saying that was pretty accurate because, the thing is that everyone talking about their strengths and what they brought to the group. I definitely observed that early on and going through process, right? Like, I'm not mainly a vocal leader, but I was forced to be one because I'm the front or the ace, right?
I think
So I relied a lot on John, who was, focal point. So, so the thing is there's some things where it flipped where we had to use address some of our weaknesses per se, and then focus on people's strengths. So I think me being organized helped me. I don't know if I contributed to other people with my organization, but certain people's more assertiveness or actually not taking BS kind of thing, that helped me get a little bit more confidence when we had to face not mainly our group, but people from outside our group. I leaned on the strength of that. Because I be honest, I don't think anyone really kind of could mess with us as a unit. That makes
I
sense.
think
They don't care.
No,
They can't.
you know, and I think that's. I mean, we kind of play on that. Like,
You talking about the area?
oh no,
We're talking
shit.
about in general.
I'm talking about life in general.
In general.
I'm talking about the area.
But I think like the real cool thing about us is that we didn't know all too much about each other, but from the jump, we all kind of supported each other. I wasn't around when, you know, all you guys were getting to know each other over the summer because I was away in South Africa. But
No, but we knew one another.
But well, yeah, you know, but you guys are still getting to get to know each other. You know, you're
Right.
doing everything you needed to do, and I feel like my connection to the rest of you guys was through Jason. Like Jason was like, "This is what we did now." He's keeping me up to date. But when I got back, I was like, okay, these dudes are supporting each other. We didn't owe nothing to each other. We didn't owe nothing at all, and we were just supporting each other. We all had the same goal in mind, and through everything, we were really just supportive of each other. And then I think as time went along, and this is why I love TRL so much, they started supporting us as well. You know what I'm saying? So the support just kept building and building on each other.
They see how strong this line particularly is. And
Well, I would say that too, because I think after a while we wanted to go 6 for 6, right? We all wanted to succeed. We didn't want not one person to fail.
But I think that's important, what you just said, after a while.
Okay.
I don't feel like when we first started, like, you know,
Yeah.
I think that,
Yeah.
you know, everything that everyone said, I completely agree with. But at the same time, we had some struggles.
Right.
We had some
100%.
major struggles. Like, I think
Yes.
that
Right.
as a collective, we struggled to operate as a group and move as a unit because we were brought into the whole situation separated. So it was like kind of like 2 separate groups, and like getting the groups together was difficult. And so it took a lot of work, took a lot of transparency, and that didn't come overnight. Like I think
No, it didn't.
we had a lot of arguments. So like the way everyone is painting the picture is great because it is accurate, but at the same time, like I don't want y'all to think that this was just some walk in the park. Cause
it wasn't not peaches and cream at all.
Getting our personalities to mesh was not fun.
It was like a
and it
puzzle.
took a lot of work.
Yeah, and I mean, and I definitely agree with that. Like, you know, we played on each other's strengths, and we definitely had our conflicts because we have, I think, a lot of strong personalities. But I think that what happened or what transpired is that we kind of used that like strong personalities eventually
to our advantage.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure.
When we were clashing with each other, we were like realizing like this is not working when we clash with each other, and we turned it and we were like, let's use that energy to be successful,
to build each other up.
And I do remember specifically, I don't know a turning point, but I do remember a point where we were like, none of us are failing. I don't know if it was John or someone was like, we were saying at some point where we were like,
Probably wasn't John.
it wasn't John. I don't know. There was a point where we were like,
John was sick
Probably
as shit of
wasn't
us.
John.
Like John was like,
there's the
John
door.
was like,
Probably
bruh,
was not
you
John.
ain't studied.
I was waiting for
Bruh.
somebody to tell the truth.
But you know the thing is too, that also brought a lot of stress to the whole situation. I think
What?
because
What
like
specifically?
Right.
no
Go ahead,
shade,
say
but
it.
like I'm saying from a John standpoint, for example, like I know John was seemingly the most knowledgeable when it came to like his alpha information a lot of times, and so his lack of patience with us
It was low.
often caused a lot of issues.
Wait. Not
but he
my
also had
issues, though.
high expectations
Not me.
of us too.
He had high
Which-
expectations,
right.
as
which
well.
was good, which is definitely
Yeah.
good.
Damn, I ain't even to tell you how I felt.
But go ahead, John.
Yeah,
Yeah,
John.
tell us
I
how
don't know.
That's how you
Nah,
really
I walked
feel.
in. I was
My
like,
bad.
I'm not gonna lie. I walked in that first Friday. I was like, I hope they're not old. No,
I thought Phil was a
That's
brother
for
already.
real, for
Me
real.
too.
No,
Me too.
I'm not
I
gonna
really
lie.
did too. I thought
No,
that was
seriously.
already one.
I did.
thought
Yeah.
you
No,
were
I
wrong.
didn't think
I thought Phil was a brother, and I even asked Brandon if he was a
Damn.
brother, and then Brandon said no, he was an interest too, and I said, okay, I
Damn.
feel good.
That's funny because I thought Brandon was already one when I first met him.
Because
And
you
then
were the first person I met at you were the first person I met throughout this whole thing.
the Arlington one.
Yeah, at Spider
Who was
Kelly's.
that? Spider Kelly's, yeah,
Yeah, and then
and that was my first one.
I
I
think that's
had-
when I met everyone for the first time.
yeah, I had. Well, you didn't
No,
meet me.
I met Jason and
Yeah.
another time.
Yeah,
I was about to say, I
my
don't think
past
you met
life.
Jason.
Past life.
Yes.
That's like,
But no, I had just came from Cali,
He was there, wasn't he?
and I was like, I hope they not.
yeah, I
old.
was there.
Yeah, he was. Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
you
okay.
were.
So I met Johnny in the past life as well.
Yeah.
Well,
past life?
I didn't meet anybody in the past life.
Well,
My assumption was that I hope they weren't old, and they wasn't. And so I was like, okay, cool. But we finished with 6, but we didn't start with 6. So the people that we did meet, some were old. And I was, and I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I was hoping that they didn't make the line. They didn't.
I did actually be honest with you. I kind of agreed. Like, if I think about it in hindsight, literally, I'm so happy that.
But when
it
you
was
start
us.
off, you do think that you're like, bro, like
God.
these
It
are
was
the people
12
I
of
want to
us.
go through this with. And
It was
these are the ones
12,
I don't.
and then it was 13, and I was like, damn, it's gonna be 13 of us. In the back of my head, I was like, that's a lot of personalities, that's a lot of people. But I mean, if 6 of us, and we all have different personalities, but I think that it eventually gelled together. Initially, no, it definitely didn't. But I don't think that with anybody in any group of people that you're going to expect that you're going to mesh off the rip. Like, I'm in the military. The whole purpose of it is like you got to figure out teamwork and XYZ. And it took us some time to figure it out, but we figured it out. And I think the most important part is that we held each other down when it was most important. Most important time to hold each other down. And we started with 6 and we finished with 6. And I can't say the same thing for everybody in here.
6 for 6.
Listen, we gave each other tough love when it was necessary, and I think that's what was helpful to us. I mean, looking at it now, on the other side, I mean, that tough love that was shown to each of us when we needed it helped push us through. Because again, it's taking another person's personality trait and trying to impress it upon, yourself, essentially, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I'll say transparency too, because we can't be brothers and stand with each other. We just be a fake ass line.
I mean,
That's the thing,
true.
and that's the thing. Like we really had to learn how to trust each other. And I think once we started trusting each other, like we got all the kinks out before it was game time. Yeah, like
But
we
I
got
think-
a lot of the kinks out before it was game time.
Y'all
I
wanna
think
see
a lot of
photo I
that.
got?
Oh, what? Who's
You wanna
talking?
see a photo I got?
I think a lot of that goes back into what you guys were talking about earlier just now, Phil, when you you knew each other in a different life kind of thing. There was a level of passion that we all had because there was a level of perseverance that we all had to endure in order to get to this. Like, no one who came into this was someone that just woke up one day and said, oh, I want to be an alpha, and then this is what happened. You know what I mean? Like, all of us had different journeys to get here, but all of those journeys were long. And so we all had some
And we can date.
roads.
I think probably I had the longest one, but we ain't gonna go into
Go
that.
ahead, date it.
Because
What
you're
is
old
it?
as shit. That's why
11
I'm the
years?
longest one.
11 years?
Oh, I could just tell you the
Phil,
year. I'm not,
yours
I'm
and
not a
ours are kind
mathematician.
of parallel.
Yeah, okay,
but
but
The point is that
that's a
everyone
very
had
good point.
long roads.
07.
And so when I think we all took the time out to really understand what each other's journey looked like, that's when we were able to really unravel things and meet each other at the core. And it meant a lot for our development overall.
Yeah.
And I mean, and you said a really good point too. I like that we're just going. Is that our journey to this? Like, most times in grad, I don't think the undergrad kids, they just think that I'm just gonna jump online and I don't think they appreciate as much as a grad chapter, because I would say 90% of the people's stories have been they tried or they wanted or they were passionate about this before they got to Alpha.
I wouldn't say that they don't appreciate it. I would say
They
it's
don't
a
appreciate it.
different. It's a different
It's a
kind of
different
appreciation.
We have different
Like,
responsibilities.
I feel like in grad you already have so much outside of your life that
Experience.
you
Yeah.
have to kind of put on hold because you're making that sacrifice because this is what you want.
Right.
Whereas in undergrad, you're already there.
You're on campus.
You're already there, and they're asking a lot of you at the same time. So I wouldn't say they don't appreciate it.
Well, I mean, let me a
then there's-
different appreciation.
But then there's also that assumption.
We all came to this with full journeys and stories before we wanted this, and we all I remember saying to myself this is it, this is what I like. I'm not if I don't do this jump this year, it's not happening, kind of thing. That was my mindset. This was a long time coming for in my life. So that's why I think a lot of us took it very seriously.
Well, put it this way: we all had lives. We all had professional lives. We all have personal lives. I mean, when you came in doing this, your second child was
On the way.
Was on the way, man.
Yeah.
Fun times.
But that's something that I think is also very, and our line name,
Survivors of
I think it
Chaos.
really took a whole new meaning just now when I really thought about it, because it's like, okay,
Just
yeah,
now,
I'm thinking
a
of
whole
the
year later.
I'm thinking of the chaos in the sense of like the bullshit that we had to deal with a lot of times with like no shade but our cluster sometimes, and like, you know, just all of that, like the politics. But we really did survive a lot of chaos in the sense of our own line. Like, Phil had a child on the way. He had one child already here, and a wife that was not necessarily like fully well. She was sick kind of throughout the pregnancy,
and she wasn't really about Alpha. That'd be real.
But like she was not even just that, but like she needed her husband there, and you had to be somewhere else. You know what I mean?
Right.
Jason is a single dad. Jason has 2 children that he had to be running back and forth as far as like childcare was concerned while we were doing
Bringing
things as far
them
as
to
obligations. Johnny was in pharmacy school.
I had rotation.
Rotations
Rotations
that took up all of his time and also all of his studying time, because he clearly didn't know a lot of shit when he needed to know it for us.
Right.
So it caused a lot of problems.
Hey, I knew
You
it.
was-
I knew it when
But
I
he
needed
knew
to
it when
know
he
it.
needed to know it on
You
the
was in
test.
grad
But
school.
he did
not know.
I was in grad school.
Brandon was finishing up
I
his
was
grad
working.
degree.
I had
yeah.
my internship.
What was
You
I
were working
doing?
at
John
grad
was
school.
in the military
was
grad
chilling.
school as well.
And
Dorsey
you
just graduated.
You also have your business too.
Right, and you have your
I was
business.
chilling.
Dorsey just graduated, also starting his personal business and propelling his life, trying to figure out like what career growth he wanted
lot
for
of
his
chaos.
like his future. Like,
And
we
I
were
got
all-
fired.
Oh,
And Dorsey got fired while we were online. I forgot about
Thanks
that.
for keeping it real.
But that's shit.
Nah,
That's real life.
that was
That's
not-
real life. That's
that was
real
a lot of
life.
drama.
That's real life.
And he had to get a new car, all that. We had to do a lot of
Oh my
stuff.
God.
Yeah,
Wait,
yeah.
wow. I
That's real
forgot.
life.
Yo,
Yeah.
we really made it, y'all.
Yeah, we really
Honestly,
did.
I was chilling. I ain't gonna lie.
Like I had no idea that Dorsey was going through what he was going through, and it wasn't until him and I were just talking, you know, over the phone. He was like, "Yeah, this is what I'm going through," and I was like, "Damn, and you're keeping your composure." I'm like, "Yo, props to you, brother." I mean, you know, each of us had to go through our own shit. I mean, I remember when Johnny was traveling from DC to wherever the hell he was traveling for his degree, and I'm like, you know, for a minute I wondered about Johnny, but you know, he kept saying, "Listen, I got this. You know, just keep me posted on what's going on." And you know, Johnny had some obscure, what I call obscure methods for learning. But you know what? Listen, it worked out for him. Brandon, you know, Brandon was dealing with his own stuff, you know, trying to do it right with his degree, and he did. And you know, career-wise, you know, he's killing it.
I remember kept on saying, like, I thought my wife was going to leave me every single day.
Every time we
day.
met,
I got tired of
every
hearing
time
that.
we met,
I
Phil
heard
will
that
stare at us and be like, "My wife's
I
gonna
got tired of
leave
hearing
me."
it.
I mean, it was stress. It was a lot
When
of
the
stress.
prices came up too, he's like, "Bruh, that's it."
That's what happens when you spend every day with.
But you know, it's a sacrifice. You know, what I mean, it really
It
does.
was.
It makes us, you know, align and grow closer together. I mean, that's the beautiful part about the process.
And I'm going to say this, too. Like, when I kept on saying the negative thoughts, I thought one of the main positive thoughts was, like, I would envision, like, you know, finishing and everyone else wearing a jacket and not being a part of that. And that, like, made me upset. So I was like, I'm not going to fail any of this stuff. Because I was like, I do not want to look at some picture in January and you guys are, like, wearing letters and, like, together. And I was like, I could have been me.
Yeah.
Because I was like, that was not going to be me this year or this time. So it was like, it's a kind of a thing where it's like positive, like where you use not pure pressure, but you use peers to motivate you that you're like, I want to keep up. I do not want to be that person that falls behind. Because like,
You know what that sounds like, Phil? That sounds like brotherhood. That really does sound like brothers. Because honestly, I mean,
Brotherhood.
I have a younger brother who's 8 years younger than me, and honestly, you know, whenever he needs to get back on the straightened path, you know, the family will say, "Well, look at Jason," you know, and look
So
at your
he
brother.
hates you.
Well, see, right? Because I'm about to say, I would hate for somebody to say that to me. How about you look at me?
And then your bald ass going and talking to him too. I'd be so mad.
And the way you talk,
Right.
Look,
Hey,
listen
but,
here.
don't, but,
Got anybody feeling something.
also, don't forget the people that like sponsored us and you know
Word.
they did all that stuff. Like
Kudos to
they
them.
they literally kept
Props
that
to them.
fire on the backside. Like you know they were definitely some people that we didn't want to let down.
And you know what?
I thought about that too. I don't want
They
to
are
let them
definitely our big
Shout out to my
brothers.
sponsor, D-Tron Brown. Right now he's doing his
D-Tron.
residency
D-Tron.
over there. John Hopkins.
Killing it.
Killing
Yeah.
it.
D-Tron.
Dr. D-Tron.
Doctor.
Dr. D-Tron Brown. So
He
shout
will
out
correct
to him,
you.
man. Shout out to him because he took a big leap on me, and he knew like we were both going through the pharmacy program together, so he knew.
And shout out to your
Exactly.
recommender
I
too.
I
right?
say, what about your
Yes.
recommender?
And my recommender. Brother Hezron Williams. What? No, my
That's
bad,
a dramatic
but
pause.
No. I'm over here eating these Haribo.
Haribo.
But no,
Haribo.
seriously, like, shout out to our recommenders, Brother Hezron Williams. Like, he definitely looked out for me, and he did a lot.
Yeah,
he did a lot.
Yeah, shout out to
did a lot.
Anthony Hyman. You know, I mean, he was my recommender, and I know John and Brandon, he was your sponsor. But you know, he really took a liking to it, or literally, he's a big brother to us. Shout out to George White, good brother, Phil.
Shout outs to Kevin Glover.
Kevin Glover.
Maurice Smith. Yes, and Maurice Smith.
Now, so we talked about. So what is go around? What does brotherhood mean to you? And that's like a just open-ended question.
Hey, John, what does brotherhood mean to you?
Yeah, what does it mean to you?
Can you skip me?
Skip. Pass.
Nah, brotherhood to me. Well, so I have a brother. I'm not gonna lie. I have a brother. He's 7 years older than me, but we never really spent a lot of time together. So brotherhood to me was a collective, a group coming together, maybe not necessarily having the same interests or the same characteristics, but essentially that family, that bond, and that connection that you genuinely grow to have when you meet a collective who all have the same interests. We all want the same thing. We all show the same passion and determination to get it. And in turn, eventually got to become one and become a family, and we did what we had to do as a unit and looked out for each other, and we weren't individuals in that moment. And to me, it's one thing to be an individual and want to get something, but to be a team and get it together and accomplish it and finish it together, and then you will always have that together as a group.
That was my major challenge. I came into this being an individual.
You did.
Yeah, and no, that's my personality trait. I mean, honestly, I don't like a lot of team sports. I like solo things, and literally saying, you know what, you don't know everything, Jason. So look at these brothers. They're all coming from different walks of life, and they have different experiences. And each of us, we are making our imprint in this area.
Well, I would say a thing about individuality and all that stuff is sometimes you have to give up a little bit of control. Like, right, you have to put a little bit of trust in other people, and that's hard because, then that gives people the opportunity to let you down, or all those things. So it's coming from a place of vulnerability. So sometimes I'm appreciative though that when you do put your trust in people, and that's what I think about brotherhood, is that that person is not going to let you down, so that you're able to put your trust in that. Especially team sports, right? Like team sports, you got to trust your teammates, as opposed to individual. Your accolades, your accomplishments are all on you, and your failures are all on you. But in a team sport, some guy could drop a pass or something that had nothing to do with you, and we all lose. Right?
Speaking of sports, Tennessee Titans and Dallas Cowboys is tied 14-14 halftime.
Next. So what is hey, Dorsey, Eagles. I know you out there. I know you chilling. I know you're on mute. But what's brotherhood mean to you?
Our brotherhood means to me, it's something else. Like I'm gonna use our line for instance. So it's a phrase I usually use, 6 in, 6 out. You know what I'm saying? So everyone's accountable for each other. Whether it's one person hitting up one specific brother, no matter what, I can always go to them in terms of support, in terms of crying out, my biggest problems, my biggest concerns. I talk to y'all about everything. You know what I'm saying? Anything that bothers me, any move I'm trying to make, or even if I need help or sometimes advice. Brotherhood is basically holding each other accountable for whatever life may throw at each other.
Word.
So, if one is struggling, if one is slipping, as a brother, we should not let that person fall. We should be able to do anything in our power, anything on our will to help that brother out. You know what I mean? So, just like what John said, and he'll point it out, oh, you're an individual. You know what I mean? So, it should be no individuals in a brotherhood. So that's what brotherhood means to me. Helping each other out for as professional advice, mental health, any type of issue. If you're my brother, I got you. If you need some help with your bags, I got you. You know what I mean? So that's what brotherhood means to me, though.
No, but each of y'all are successful in your own right, and I felt like whenever I looked up, when I looked to y'all, it's like damn, I'm like I shouldn't be complaining about what's going on in my life. Woe is me. These guys are doing it them damn selves, and I felt like what, shit, I can't. I should not say what's on my mind because you guys would be like well, shit, man up. But you're right. It's putting that trust in one another.
That makes sense.
No, yeah,
Exactly. And even as brothers, like, we should always, back to the transparency thing, like, and also what you was talking about too, Jason, like, as a brotherhood, we should always be honest with each other, even when it hurts. You know what I mean?
Word.
So if we ever see, like, someone on some bad type terms, well, we might address them and might not necessarily agree with how they feel, but at the same time, if you my bro, I'm not gonna let you. Brandon, one of the best people to do that.
Word. Yeah, he
Yeah.
is.
I need
Yeah,
to
I
call him
appreciate
out.
him for
Like,
that.
that's the brother right there.
King of call out.
So we all going to take time.
It's iron. What is it? Metal sharpening metal.
Iron sharpens iron.
Yeah, there we go.
All right, so
I think well
Go
real
ahead.
quick. I think to brotherhood to me really is you accept me at my worst and you accept me at my best, and even if I don't meet the expectations of what you can do or what you expect from me, you still say, you know what, I got his back. It don't matter. I don't care where we're at or what's going on. I'm always going to support this dude. He may piss me off. He may, get on my nerves or whatever. But at the end of the day, if I see him going to bat for me, I'm going to go to bat for him as well. And I think we just continue to have each other's back. And that's one of the biggest things, that we can confidently go anywhere and know that, that person next to me is not going to turn on me. That's my brother.
Damn straight.
So what was some of your, like we're finishing our year. What was some obstacles of your first year in Alpha?
My attitude.
Attitude.
Can you elaborate there, brother Busby, brother Bus?
Nah, John really wanted to. He still wants to do a lot, and I definitely respect.
I'll let John.
I think I
Well,
came
that's the
in.
leader in him.
I think I came in wanting to. Had not high expectations, but I had expectations on what I saw, as what I wanted to bring to the chapter. Because one of the biggest things that they always ask you as an interest is, what do you want to bring to the chapter? So my biggest thing was making sure that I had plentiful ideas. So my biggest thing was that I hated. I hated when it was like a disagreeing with an idea that I had that I thought was something that was going to impact the organization as a whole and the chapter in a better way. Now, granted, my delivery might have been a little different, but that's because I'm from Jersey, and that's not an excuse. That's reality. But I'm learning to fix myself. I went to go see Ayala, and she fixing my life.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Attitude.
Facts.
Attitude. So
Yeah.
so just you're saying good ideas but delivery. That's something that you're
Sure,
thinking
if I would have had like Brandon present it, everybody probably would be like, "Oh, that's a good idea." I mean, that's just reality. If me saying it sounded like, this is what you're doing wrong. This is what we need to do to fix it.
But it's that military background in you.
Yeah,
it's
I guess I'm
very
used to
blunt.
it being in a more disciplined, blunt, Jersey, Aries
Right.
type of way,
delivery.
and you not really taking offense to it, whereas you probably took offense to it, and I'm over here like, what the hell you take offense to it for? It's me.
But at the same time, I would say that, like, for you, development-wise, like, that's something that's also been very interesting to watch. Because, like, if I look at you when you first started, no one could tell you shit. Like, it just was what it was, and that's it. And, like, now, the fact that you're even able to, like, say, like, oh, well, maybe it was this, like, maybe it was that. Like, that level of awareness is it's amazing to see that you've gotten to that point. So,
Well, I think that at that time I was more so, like, as an interest in wanting to do things, I was like one of those ones who wanted to like get in and get out. Like I didn't want to like joke around, laugh. Like if we walk in the building, we walk in the building, eyes in the boat. That's military terms, but like you know, you locked on and you serious and you get in, you get the job done, and you leave. And I kind of kept that serious mentality. I guess that's the effects of being an officer in the military now, where it's just like I was just come on.
he's an
shout out to the
officer in
Coast
the
Guard.
military, y'all.
There you go.
For right now, at least. But nah, like I feel like that discipline. I joined the military for that discipline because I didn't have it prior, and I think sometimes it gets the best of me where I still I stay locked on to that type of mode even after. And that's just me. I think my personality altogether is that I just feel like I try to lead from the front, and I try and stay in the front. I'm not a follower, but I do know how to follow when necessary.
Tell Ace.
Help me.
So I mean, and that's good. We're gonna come back to like what we want to do for the future, but I think that's a good point to bring up, like your struggles with attitude. I would say personally for me, one of my struggles was identity. Like,
What do you mean, Phil?
I'd still probably, this is probably the first time I thought like I am an alpha. Like let's be real. Like it didn't click. It was like, I thought I was Phil. I'm Phil.
Yeah, but you're a leader of
You
your
are
home.
Phil.
But you
You're a
remember
leader
what they
of
told
your
us, like,
profession.
once you're done, you become blah, blah, blah.
The
The
alpha.
Yeah,
You know
and
what
that's
I'm saying?
something I talked to Kevin about, and that's something I'm thinking about and still processing. But that's still my thing. Like I still don't want to, this goal and thing that I wanted to be so bad. I didn't want to lose myself in that I don't remember who I am as Phil. So I gotta remember, like, I am Phil, the alpha, not just the alpha, So that's something I'm coming into my own and really, really working on.
Or you could be Phil, who is a brother of Alpha.
And that's what he is, and I think that's honestly one of the cool parts about joining in grad, because when you do grad chapter, you have to know yourself before you go into that. Like,
Right.
This isn't something where, like, in undergrad, I know the first time I tried to become an alpha, I was 19. No, I'm sorry, excuse me, I was 18. I was going on 19. I remember that was one of the biggest feedback criticisms that I got, where it was just like, okay, well, you're too young. Like, you don't know yourself yet. Right. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, I know myself. But, like, I didn't know myself. Fast forward to when I was 26 doing it, it's like a completely different person. Like, I am Brandon first. I'm not Brandon the alpha. I'm Brandon first.
Mm-hmm.
But it's Brandon who happens to be an alpha. The same way I think for you, you're Philip first. Like, you're Philip, you're a dad, you're a husband, but you're also an alpha. And it's like a great part of you, but it's not the only part of you, and it's not the defining part of you. And I think that's something that it's not a bad thing at all. It's not something you need to be ashamed of. It's just what it is. It's a good thing. Like, alpha does not make me. I'm an alpha man. Like, I think that just by my characteristics and by my traits, but it does not make me. This fraternity does not make me. With or without it, I am who I am.
Exactly.
Same with you.
There you go.
Same with all of us.
So
And that's the issue with those undergrads.
That's
They
my
they
job.
rely on the organization.
Well, we're not going to
make
shade
them-
undergrad.
No,
No,
I'm just
we're
saying
not,
though,
we're
but
not.
like your mindset, especially when you join that early, like you join as a freshman in college, your mindset is a lot of times, let's just keep it real, it's the popularity thing. It's definitely for that. But I mean, some people definitely have their head on their shoulders. They know why they want it. But most times in undergrad, I mean, come on.
So what was some other people? So I said mine, and I'm finally coming into that and having some awareness. What was some other people's struggles for the first year?
Balance and time.
Okay.
I think there was also like a level of guilt.
Availability.
Yeah, a level of guilt because of my lack of availability. Because in the tail end of or not the tail end, the beginning part of our first year, I was still in grad school and I was like wrapping up my degree. And so
Right.
there were a lot of things where it was like, okay, I let so many things slide trying to get to this goal. I got the letters and it's like, I don't want to be someone that just like pulls out from everything and just not do anything, but school needed to come first.
Right.
Like, I needed to put school first because I wasn't putting it first before. My internship needed to come second because I was putting that like fifth in my life. And so like all of those things, like they had to take precedent where they weren't taking it before, and I felt guilty about it. But I think learning the balancing act is also part of becoming or part of being an alpha. You have to learn how to balance. Like, it's not, life is life. It will always be life, and life sucks sometimes. Like, you have so many responsibilities that are on your plate, and you have to be able to balance them as a mature adult. You have to know how to balance. And so getting to a point now where I know, okay, like I have to balance my personal life with my professional life with alpha, like, and knowing it's a new part of my life that just has to be there, and it has to be in that rotation. I have to make room for it in that rotation, and that's important. Not letting it slide in the background.
That's a good point, man.
With that lit lifestyle.
Yeah.
And be lit at the same time. It's a
All that
challenge, man. It's
traveling.
exhausting.
Yeah.
Okay. Because you're traveling all the
Traveling,
time.
drinking, shorties, man.
This man
it's- it
travels
hurts.
every month. Don't let him fool you. He travels
Instagram
once
star.
a month at
He's
least.
living
He
the
gets
life.
mad likes on Instagram, man.
He's
I
living the
see
life.
that.
All right,
He'll
I'm
drop
just
like
living
one
my
pic,
life.
and it's like, oh my
I'm
goodness.
just living my life.
So
Yeah.
for me, I think the whole year has just been like, as soon as we finished, I had to get back to school, just like Brandon was saying. I had to get back to school. I had to make sure I graduated, and I think now I'm in a spot where I have, wake up, go to work, but now I have this free time. So I'm trying to find out right now where I fit into everything to give back to the chapter. I really, really, really am interested in Project Alpha, and I'm glad that, Brother Hyman's actually getting things rolling and whatnot with that within the chapter. So now I feel like I can start giving my energy to what led me to Alpha in the first place. And I'm really looking forward to it, but I just want to make sure that I'm giving everything that I can, because I don't like signing up for something and then I only give you half of what I can, and then I don't look good. I don't make the chapter look good. So
No one looks good.
I rather give 100%, and I feel like the time is coming soon for me to start giving 100% and whatnot. So I'm prepping up for that.
You're
I'm
prepping
looking forward to it.
Yeah.
It's a good point.
Cause like okay, and then so like we've talked a lot. I didn't realize how much time went by. So what are some like concrete, like flipping this, and we kind of addressed, what are some things that you want to do after this year, you know, that you've grown through this year, that you're looking forward to in the future years?
Truthfully, I would love to be a part of more events. You know, the big challenge for me is, of course, balancing that fatherhood, or excuse me, that single fatherhood life and professional life. But I would love nothing more than to give more time to the chapter, to the committees, and, you know, even just see y'all even more. It's rare for me to be around y'all, and, you know, whenever I am around y'all collectively, it just feels like nothing has truly changed. You know, it's like family. It really is like family. So
That goes right back to the brotherhood part, though, and I love that about us, like, a lot. I feel like I can step into the room with any of you and then just not miss a beat. Like, Dorsey is miles away right now, but I know the minute I see this dude, like, it just be like I saw him yesterday. You know what I mean? And the same thing with everyone here, and I think that is a blessing, that we have that kind of dynamic. But when it comes to moving forward, I think that I would just want to continue that type of relationship with my line brothers, and then also grow that to other people in the fraternity. I think there are a lot of people in our chapter that have so much to offer that we may not necessarily have tapped into yet. And so that's something that I see a lot of opportunity in. But then also, I think for me, an area that I want to have more impact in, or have more of a voice in, is like the Education Foundation. Because I think there are a lot of things in that space that tie into why I wanted to do this to begin with. And so future, it's going to be about using my voice to do things that are impactful in that space a little bit more. And then also just not being afraid to speak up in general, because I think a lot of us, we struggle with that.
Yes. That's
hard.
fact. That's true.
Yeah, it's hard. And there's a scripture I always remember for that. And so
Chaplain.
go ahead, Chaplain.
So 2 Timothy 4:13.
Jesus Christ.
Get the word out, teach all these things, and don't let anyone put you down because you're young. Teach believers with your life, by word, by faith, by demeanor, by love, by integrity. And I think that for us, it's like,
Speak on it, brother.
despite our years in Alpha, just because we are a year in doesn't mean that we don't have a lot of a voice and a lot of impact that we can make. And
Big
so
facts.
remembering that is also something that I really need to remind myself of on a daily basis.
Especially in Alpha, because everybody got something.
Everybody got something to say.
Everybody got
And
something
everybody
to
gonna
say.
judge you, but you
Everybody's
can't let that
Alpha.
hold you.
Right.
Speak on it, Dorsey.
And Dorsey, what's some goals you have for yourself?
As far as like for the future and everything with
Yeah.
Alpha,
Yeah.
I would say number one, like, is continue to stay active, like, because right now I'm in the process, like, I'm going from place to place, and, you know, it could be kind of contradictory a little bit, but no matter what, Atlanta always would be my home. But, you know, Alpha in general is always going to be like my foundation. So, mainly just that, and also, like, I don't know about y'all, but the more as I get older, the more I develop more of a passion for Alpha. Like, I don't know about y'all, but I say my poems every day. You know what I mean? Like, they help me get through my day. Test of a Man, Invictus, and If is my biggest ones. So, mainly just continuing to, you know, service. Like, I have the need to do some type of service whenever I have the, you know, the time to. So my biggest goal, I would say, basically setting more time aside and more time, money, and energy, put that to the side and kind of focus that more on Alpha and contributing back to communities and reaching out to other brothers from other chapters. Because my biggest thing is that even though, you know, I always practice brotherhood, naturally me, I'm an independent person. So a lot of times it's hard for me to go out and ask for help. Or a lot of times it's hard for me to say, hey, bro, like, I just need you on this, need you on that, because I like to do things myself. But, you know, our letters, they're supposed to be the ones that kind of help us bridge that gap. So just kind of make more time to express how I really feel with Alpha, and also make more time to kind of reach out to other brothers no matter where I go, because there's only one Alpha. So that's my biggest thing. And I heard y'all laugh because we was just talking about that.
Well, and I wanna do a little quick plug right here because Baby Trey just finished speaking and he's turning 25 tomorrow. So
Happy
That's
birthday.
right, man.
Trey Wade.
Yo, all right.
Trey Wade.
I wish my guy a happy one.
He's still young as hell.
Right. The baby at the line.
So, and then, I mean, what we got? About 10 minutes. So I want to use this last 10 minutes. Let's do, I call it shot for shot. And I want someone.
It's no more Henny.
You don't got no
Where's
more
the
liquor.
bottle?
No, I mean, like, it's like my
Yo,
podcast.
John taking a selfie. Look at him.
I'm on live.
Look at
No,
him.
no.
I'm on live.
You on IG Live being a
Right.
Oh, you're live?
Really? Seriously. Negative.
Shot for shot is like a segment of my podcast where you get to ask someone a random question. Has nothing to do with Alpha or this episode, and you got to answer truthfully. So we can just ask each other random questions, give each
Were
other
we talking
ones.
about this
I might have
shit
to go
before
off
we
live.
started? What were we talking about?
Don't ask me nothing crazy.
What were we talking about?
What
Like,
Murray is gonna happen?
yeah.
No,
like,
but
you just gonna throw something
Oh,
out
All
there
right,
to give people
Montel.
context?
No,
All right,
Montel.
Montel.
Right,
Montel
yeah.
Williams.
This is the Montel segment of the show. So go ahead. I mean,
So go ahead and ask me a question.
there you go, and that's it. And then we'll do our plugs.
I don't have a question right now.
Amber
the
Rose or
questions?
Black China?
Neither.
Neither. Okay.
Disease.
Black
Neither.
China. What you mean?
No.
Dimples.
Jesus.
Disease.
Oh, Jesus.
She's too plastic.
All right, but like if you strip away all that shit, she's fine.
Who
If
is?
you
Amber
take away
Rose.
all the
Who?
shit, Black China.
What?
She looks like Lauren
Bruh.
London when you strip away everything else.
She looks like who?
Minus the
Lauren
back
London.
fat.
All right.
Okay,
Minus the-
that was my one
Bro,
question.
She's like Lauren
I
London.
see.
Ooh.
Minus the back
Brotherhood.
fat.
Brotherhood is when you can tell your brother that he's
It's a
tripping.
liar.
Fair.
All right.
Fair.
Or he lying.
I said Amber Rose, but that's it. All right, another question.
I say neither.
Someone can ask another one. I asked mine.
Yeah,
already.
someone ask a question. Go ahead.
I don't have one.
Who's gonna win the NFC?
How inappropriate can we get?
All right, let's do PG-13.
PG-13.
Okay.
PG-13.
I'm weak.
Bruh.
Fat ass or big titties?
Wow.
Fat ass.
Yeah,
That's
but-
That's
PG-13.
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 Yeah, fat ass.
Fat
Fat
ass.
ass.
I'm gonna say
Fat
titties.
ass.
All my ex-girls.
Really?
Fat
are
ass.
titties.
I say fat ass.
That's PG-13.
Yes. You thought that's R, Nick?
No, that's not
man.
R.
Yo, Brandon, you're a freak, bro.
So you know the bro.
That's not PG-13. That's definitely not PG-13.
You're a freak, bro.
So
I
motor.
feel
That was
like-
like
I
that
feel
was
like-
like 17. That was like mature.
That's NR-17.
Right.
I feel like that question had a lot more meaning before women can go out and buy all these body parts. Like there was like
That's
a
a
real
good
distinction between it. Now it's like 10 years ago she ain't had that. Now she got
Silicone.
both.
All right. So how about this?
It's a
I don't like
Silicone
this.
It's a
injections
conversation
or
in itself.
natural?
I don't like
Natural.
fake butts.
Natural.
Fake butts are
Natural.
terrible.
Yeah,
Natural.
yeah. Fake butts are sort of
natural.
hard.
No,
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 Jason.
it's actually they
They
just
gotta
Show me a
say
natural ass with
something.
some stretch marks. That's what I'm looking
Yes,
for.
tiger
Yeah,
stretch
come
marks.
on, Kendrick.
Yeah, tiger
Cheating.
stretch
Stretch
marks.
One more question.
We didn't even all get to ask one.
Seriously,
Well,
man.
you didn't have one. I said
question.
questions.
Right,
in silence.
I thought it was a question to a specific person.
No,
in the
I was
room.
just gonna ask
No,
questions.
seriously.
Well, it's too many to
Wait,
do that.
I got one.
What's your favorite poem?
Wait, what?
Ooh,
We said not about
If.
Alpha.
Not alpha related.
If by Rudyard Kipling.
Invictus.
Hey, Dorsey, can you
Invictus.
spit that?
by
Honestly, it's
Sir
really
William
not
Sunday.
alpha related. It is, but
Nah,
it's
nah.
You
not.
over here being an
No
alpha go
poems.
hard.
But I'm gonna say Invictus.
I'm not sitting there and recite it. I'm just saying like.
You like spit your favorite poem.
Yeah,
Line
spit it.
speak.
Give me if. Let me hear if.
House of
Say if
Alpha.
7 times.
House of Alpha, Dorsey. Spit it.
I would say Test of a Man is
No
my
poems.
Yeah, number 4. What's House of Alpha? Number 4.
Yeah.
number
Don't
2.
say
Say
it.
House of Alpha.
P5.
Don't say it.
Yeah, that's why I kept hearing
P5.
from John, like
Favorite
John.
poem.
Don't.
Number
Jason,
2,
don't
pop
say it.
out.
Yeah. Number 2, pop out.
Yo, Johnny's shook right now. Johnny's frozen.
My chest
Like
is
number
dead.
2, pop
Right.
out.
My chest is dead.
My chest is
Hey
dead.
yo, y'all remember Johnny? He was like,
chest is
I
dead.
don't know if you can see this podcast. Burger Johnny, like,
Relax,
Oh,
relax.
TRL Alpha just
Relax.
joined.
The dog, sir.
Oh, that's Leonard.
Oh, okay.
Relax.
Shout out to Brother President. He just joined the live.
Yeah.
Hi.
Yo, shout out.
Or it
Brother
might
President.
be Keith. Hold on. Who's in
Might
charge
be
of the
Keith.
who's in
Hey,
charge
yo,
of the
hey,
Facebook
real
group?
talk. Shout out to
Instagram.
Keith, man. Shout out to Keith.
This
like,
might be
big time.
Leonard though.
Word, H.U.
Shout out to
Love.
Leonard too, but shout out to Keith, man. Shout out
Why?
to his Falcons too. His Falcons, Dirty Birds Rising, yeah.
No.
Boo.
No?
No.
Boo.
Fly Eagles fly.
Boo.
All
Fly
right.
Eagles was fun.
Maurice just was hitting me up too, and I talked to Kevin last night.
Why you name dropping?
Right.
They didn't call us.
Right. Okay.
You want?
Oh,
you
my
want
bad.
to prove you special?
Nah,
Huh?
nah.
Also,
No, I just know it was the
also-
time because he like, yeah, you know, David just joined last night. Let me just name drop some people
well,
too.
before we wrap this up, I think one thing that needs to be said for
What's
sure is shout outs to our dean,
Yes, CJ.
Chris
Black
Jones.
enough.
Yeah,
Black
Joe.
enough,
Shout
black
out
enough.
to Dean.
Because if it weren't for that man and his patience with us, because
Right.
Lord knows we
patient.
were not easy.
He has a stupid amount of patience.
It's
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah.
Right.
I've never seen Chris get
His
mad.
temperament
I've
is-
never
his
seen
temperament
Chris
is
even get
crazy.
close
He
to
just
getting
doesn't
mad.
like confrontation.
I don't think I've seen him yell.
No, I've never seen
I've
it.
never
I've
seen
seen
never
him
heard
yell,
of
It
but
was
like,
like upset, but not like a yell
But that's
upset.
the
It's
thing. I think he has a gift too, because like you can tell when
he
he's
does.
disappointed, and it's
Yeah.
like you don't want to disappoint him because like his
Yeah.
mood changes, and you don't want to like be on that side of him.
Right.
But shout outs to him because like he held us down, y'all.
Yeah, he
like
did.
he's the reason why we're
He
here.
still holds us down.
Yeah,
Like
and to
it
this
held,
day.
held,
To this
hold.
if we ever
Hold
needed
it.
anything from
Will
that
hold.
man,
Holding.
Still holding.
and if we need a good firm talking to, he still got it.
Don't
Yes.
call me.
Yeah, Chris
All right.
hella wise too,
Don't
bro.
text my phone,
yeah.
Chris.
Hella wise.
All right, so we're wrapping up on the show. I want to give everyone an opportunity to plug their side hustles, their special ventures, and just shout outs. So obviously, shout out to myself for Positive Filter. Please like and subscribe and I don't know, follow. John,
Instagram, Rozayhartnabrig, ROZAYHARTNABRIG. You know, like Rose, Ricky Rose, Hartnabrig, like Braxton P. Hartnabrig from the Jamie Foxx Show. Business, What's the Stitch? WHTS, the THE Stitch. I do all your embroidery, heat pressing, and all
Like
your
this
good
jacket?
stuff. I did the line jackets.
Fire.
Thanks a lot,
Fire,
brother.
yes. Thank you for the
Thanks a
line
lot.
jackets.
And everything else, whatever you think that you need.
And it's not always Greek affiliated.
It's
He
not
does
Greek affiliated.
anything,
I
y'all.
definitely
Quality.
He does
I just did a bag for Amazon.
If
Great
you want,
shirts.
if you want to wrap on your car, he can definitely design that for you.
I never I do positive filter shirts. I do all types of stuff. Shot glasses. I just did that for G-Ho this past weekend. Just booked a gig with Amazon. So yeah, we making money. We networking. So holla at me.
Yeah. Yo, John gonna be like a billionaire by like next year, bro.
I'm gonna be stressed the hell
Speak-
out though.
Speak that
That
into
motherfucker-
existence.
I'm gonna be
Ooh.
stressed out though. I'm not gonna
Speak
lie.
that into
I'm just trying to
existence.
graduate in December.
You
That's it.
got this, John. You got
all
this.
right, Dorsey, I know you got this side jump. So plug that real
Yeah,
quick.
so I sell drugs. Say no, but
Wait, I'm weak.
Maggie's gonna be like, he's never coming into our house.
nah.
I fed him
No,
spaghetti.
but shout out to me. My page is
Shout out to me.
designs _ website bmagicdesigns.bigcartel.com. There you find all your home apparel along with cover arts, any type of graphic design, logos, flyers. I do it all. So yeah.
Thank you, G.
For me, I am a regular ass mother. I have my regular day job, but on the side, I do a little writing sometimes. So y'all can check me out on CassiusLife.com. It's a digital platform focused on Black men of color, I should say.
Yeah.
Mental health, sexual health,
Erotic.
all of those things, lifestyle.
Some good pieces,
So
man.
yeah, check out some of my pieces. You could look at that. Let me know what you think.
He actually writes really well too.
Yeah, he really does.
Yeah. Shakespeare of the line.
This man has like full stories. I can close my eyes and picture the words.
It's like a Zane Chronicles.
it is
It ain't
actually-
like that.
No, it is.
It is not like Zayn.
Yeah, I read a Zane.
It is not like
Nah,
Zane.
it ain't Zane. I'm joking.
I know, but it's pretty good stories.
Zayn is also that's a great author. She
I could
very
probably write
detailed,
a good Zane novel.
very nasty but detailed.
Yeah.
All right, Johnny.
Yeah, what it is. It's your auntie's favorite DJ Big Yokes. Yeah, I mean, I'm in the area. I'm in the DMV area. If you ever need a DJ, a house party, club, whatever it is,
Bar
you know
mitzvah.
what? Bar mitzvah, anything, man.
Bar
Even your
mitzvah,
wedding,
yeah.
like, go ahead and hit me up. You can hit me up at Beats.ByYoks. That's YOKS, Beats.ByYoks. Or, I mean, if you're an upcoming artist and you also want beats, I got my beats posted on my Instagram. Again, that's Beats.ByYoks. And also, you can check me out at SoundCloud.com/BeatsByYoks. And also, we got Mixcloud.com/DJ Big Yokes. I got some old school mixes, some new school mixes. Anything you need, hit me up, man. And we can work. All right, let's get it.
Get some money, Johnny. Pay for that wedding.
Johnny
Johnny had that written out.
Johnny has this.
Cold, man.
Now this is
Cold,
how you
boy.
promote
Cold.
your
I
business.
actually didn't have
He had that written down.
Yeah.
He been on the Breakfast Club.
But that is how you promote your
Definitely
business.
Charlamagne.
Definitely don't have it written down.
No, that was actually really. That was a
That
really
was
good
good.
plug.
Yes.
I was impressed.
That was a
Definitely
great
don't have
plug.
it
I will say this.
Johnny,
he
please
tough,
put
he
all
tough,
that in the
he
show
all that.
notes so I can make sure. Put that
Yes.
in the show notes so I can put that on the
Nah,
episode.
but again, that is Beats.
Really? Okay, we got it. We got it. He do got some good mixes though. I did play a mix for G-Ho. We got lit. We was taking
SoundCloud.
Won't get into detail. Yeah, it was on SoundCloud though.
all right, there we
All
go,
right,
man.
so this
Jason?
is Jason Hawkins.
Audiobook.
I'm playing that
author.
playlist all day tomorrow for my
I have
birthday,
no social
bro.
media.
Take a look. It's in a book.
No, similar to Brandon, have that regular 9-to-5 corporate job. As I say, don't find me, I'll find you.
Cause he ain't got no social media.
But he stalks the shit out of people's social media.
He does. He'll look at your LinkedIn. He'll find you.
He'll find
What do they
you.
call them? Ghost
He'll find you.
followers?
He'll find you.
Ghost
But he's like a
followers?
ghost follower on like LinkedIn. Though.
Right. He has no social media,
This
but he will
man-
I
find
will
you.
find you.
This
I
man
will
was
find
able to
you.
tell me about my own career development, and I was just like, "Excuse me."
I was able to find out a lot of information.
Don't tell
This
me
man-
that you have a new job before you even knew you had a
Right.
new
Come
job.
on. This man said, "Don't find me, I'll find you."
Yeah, I
But
got
on that note, please find this episode. Thank you so much.
Hold on,
Like,
wait.
Brandon, that job you
Big
applied
shout out
was
to
very
Federal
decent,
Lambda.
man. Like,
Yeah,
Come
shout
on, how
out
you
to
gonna forget
Federal
Federal
Lambda.
Lambda?
Yeah, shout out to
Come on, the
Federal
oldest
Lambda.
in the area.
93rd house. of Alpha.
Yeah.
Hold on, wait a minute. Y'all thought we was finished?
Yeah.
Nah, I don't know it. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being on a Positive Filter episode.
Phil, thanks so much for having us, man.
Hey, you need to have
great.
us back.
Yeah,
man.
thank you, bro.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you
I
you.
don't think anyone else has done an Alphaversary
I don't know if
thing like
podcasts are
this.
for me.
Like this, right?
They never will.
Where we're unique. I think Fall 17 is probably the best line to come out of Federal Lambda.
Let's
You
do
need
a
to have us
mukbang
back.
the next
I
time.
just said it.
Fight me if you think otherwise.
Just said that
Fight
line.
me.
And you know what? That's my
Because
LB.
we-
So I stand
we keep
behind
that
him when
exactly.
he says that 100%. I
We
stand
keep
behind
that
him
energy
when he
on
says
high.
that.
Is
And
what
if
you
you
know.
have
Ooh,
any discrepancies,
he's cold.
And we will keep that same energy.
We keep that energy on
Uh
high.
huh.
I'm just a phone call.
Can we
away.
do a mukbang though?
we got Luke Cage over
Seriously,
here,
I'm
y'all.
just a
Like
phone
he'll
call
fuck y'all
away.
up. So
Oh,
don't
whoa,
play
whoa,
that.
whoa. Okay, that was
excuse me.
aggressive.
I'm
Right,
sorry.
right,
Excuse
right.
me.
Yeah, don't make
This episode is explicit now.
Can the next one be an ASMR or a mukbang? We can eat some crab legs. I'm just saying that.
All right. Well, we're out. Thank you so much for listening. Please like and subscribe. And that's it. That's Positive Filter.
Thanks a lot, brother.
Holla at us.
Yo,
All
that's
right.
Beats.ByYoks.
Bye.
What's the stitch?
Good.
Yo, Doris, thanks a lot, brother.
What's the stitch? Holla at me.
Thank you for listening to Positive Filter, a podcast that focuses on family, friends, career, with a little self-help along the way. If you enjoyed this podcast, please share it with your family and friends, and like the Facebook page, Spreading Positivity Movement. Thanks for listening.